Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Deya Direct, right here on Girlfriend FM, and we are talking with the no-nonsense judge herself. That's right, Judge Toler from Divorce Court is now Skyping for the first time with me, and welcome to Girlfriend FM, Judge Toler.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Deya.
So you know we go in girlfriend style, and you deal with one of the topics that is just, key for everybody. Everybody talks about relationships. There are ups and downs of them, and unfortunately, there is divorce. And then for some people, it's like a happy occasion. So before we get into, you know it is now.
Absolutely.
So let's just talk to you for a second, girlfriend to girlfriend. What is your relationship status?
My relationship status is this Friday, I will be having my 23rd wedding anniversary.
Aww.
I've known him for 25 years, a full quarter of a century, and we'll be married 23 years, 6 sons.
Wow.
Friday.
6
Yeah,
sons.
that's a lot of boys, isn't it?
Wow. So no wonder you're so no nonsense. You've had to be with 6 boys.
Oh, you cannot play.
Mm-mm.
Not with those people.
Mm-mm. Okay, so with that in mind, what has kept you out of divorce court?
I think a couple of things. We went into marriage counseling before we got married, and we weren't afraid to go back while we were married, and I didn't expect to be happy all the time, and we were committed to the proposition. So even when it was ugly, and it did get ugly, we stuck through it. And I think, I think it's not a fairy tale, but it's a good thing.
Now, so for all those, because I know you have some ideas about, if a marriage can be saved, and then before the vows that I want to talk about in terms of what you guys are doing with divorce court. So let's talk a little bit about before the vows in the context of when you got married, and then I want to know what's happening with the show. Did you have warning signs or concerns before you got married that you ignored, or did the good outweigh the bad in every area, and you thought there was just nothing wrong, and you thought the marriage would be perfect?
There were warning signs before that we paid attention to. There were warning signs before that we ignored, but we never really thought everything was perfect. I think because we were older. He was 36. He had 4 sons already. I was 29. We weren't babies.
Right.
So we went in and talked about the issues we understood we were going to have. We missed a couple of huge ones popped up in the first couple of years, but we worked those out later on. But I think one of the reasons why we lasted so long is we never pretended it was going to be wonderful.
Right. But the love was there, and that's what mattered.
The love was there. He was a steady guy. He got me. He knew what was wrong with me, and it's okay with it, and that's huge.
Yeah. So what are you seeing in your divorce court, and what do you wish you could say to people before the vows?
What I say about divorce court is I got tired of it. It's such a negative thing. Not a negative thing, but I would get there, everybody's fussing and hollering and carrying on, and I like to save things. So we were doing sessions called Before Your Vows that help people who are looking to get married to do what they need to do before they married successfully, to help them marry successfully. And so that's what I was going to do, and a lot of it is being prepared and facing all those problems that everybody pretends aren't there. Because when you in love, all of that pretty stuff is shiny right in front of you. Yeah, he doesn't talk to his mother. Yeah, he has a whole lot of stuff but can't pay his rent. It's okay because I love him. But you have to address all of those things.
Yes, you do.
Make them do that. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means that person is just as human as you are, and hence imperfect. And if you're not willing to live with the imperfections, all the wonderful in the world ain't gonna save you.
Okay, so you said you were going to do that, or is it something that you are doing?
I am doing.
Okay.
I do that now as a regular segment a few times a month. I will have a Before Your Vows session.
Good. So who are your candidates? Are these people who are just going together? Are they
These are people who are engaged.
Okay.
And they have issues that they want to resolve, and they come before me. I love him, but I love her, but, and I try to deal with the but.
Okay, and so do you feel like you've been able to resolve some things? Have you advised some people, you know what, I don't advise you to get married based upon my experience and knowledge?
I've told a couple people to run screaming. because it just was all wrong on so many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did shove me that one time. Yes, he is angry with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he has punched holes in the wall. But I think if I can just, and I'm like, you can't just.
Mm-hmm.
In 23 and he was 35 and I was,
Right.
run.
Okay, so to women specifically, you see a lot in relationships. You
Right.
counsel a lot of people. You've lived your own life. What are some key things that you wish all women would get that you really just want to emphasize?
I think the key things that all women should get is no matter how involved you get with someone else, you never forget the importance of feeling good as an individual and to keep progressing as an individual person. Because not only will that allow, I mean, the negative part is it'll allow you to keep going if that relationship doesn't end, but it
Right.
will also allow you to remain that exciting, interesting thing that he continues to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And so it helps you on both ends, and it helps you more confident even when the relationship isn't going well, and you don't start feeling, oh, he doesn't love me, this defines who I am.
Right.
If you keep redefining who you are,
Right.
you feel better about the whole thing.
Right. You know why that's so on point too? I remember I am divorced, but I remember when I got married fresh out of college, which I had no business doing in the first place, and really
I hear you.
wrong on so many levels. So, but I was trying to be the good Christian girl. I wanted to get married, and really I wanted to have sex. Okay, let's just keep it.
Okay, I got that. Put it out there.
Yeah, that's what that was. So now. Another reason not to get married. Okay. So I really put everything into trying to be a good wife and what I thought that was. And because we have all these ideals as to what that looks like. And before marriage, I had just won Miss Black USA. I had just graduated from Howard University. I had a promising career in front of me. And that kind of stopped when I got married because I was giving him so much energy. And one of the things he said to me was basically stop focusing on me so much. It's like you're boring now. Like I was excited about who you were, and it was like I was losing myself in the relationship based upon what I thought marriage was supposed to be. But really, regardless of all the mess that he did that you can never justify, he did teach me a lesson, okay? Right? Regardless of how clingy I was being.
Right.
He did teach me a lesson, which is don't lose yourself because that is the person that he fell in love with.
Yeah. If he wanted just June Cleaver or somebody, he would have gotten someone who wasn't in college, who wasn't Miss Black America, who wasn't all of those things.
Right.
He wanted you.
Right.
And now he wants you to do a little bit of that June Cleaver. Don't let them fool you because they're looking for that a little bit. But you cannot lose yourself in thinking that is who you are now.
Right. Now, and then also, there are so many people who have ideals, again, about what marriage is. But then, I know you guys do something about can marriage be saved on divorce court, and I want you to talk to me about that, and then I have a question.
I started doing that because I would get people in a divorce court, they're separated, they want a divorce, and I would say, listen, if you fix A, B, and C, you can make this sucker work. And so I started to invite people who are near the end, not already filed or not already separated, to say, hey, if you can get redirected in the right directions and figure out what the problem is, you need to save it. Because I hate all of this, we can't make it, we can't make it, we can't make it. It's not always easy, but sometimes you can make it, sometimes you need to go. But sometimes you can, and that was my idea of saying, hey, and also a lot of people would write in and say, I think I want to get divorced, but can you fix him? So I would come on, I said, well, maybe it isn't him, maybe it's both of you, or the other way around. So it was just a response to demand and also a response to what I want, which is everybody to do the best they can in that state of being.
Do you find though that people in relationships are more focused on their mate being fixed more than really looking inwardly and saying, what's wrong with me, especially women, because we're good for trying to be somebody's mama or trying to tell him what he needs to do better, and a lot of times we're trying to have them fix the things that might actually be wrong with us, but we don't realize it.
Right. I think a lot of times women tend to believe that they're wrong a lot, and he's not happy, so I'm not doing it right. And they try to fix themselves, and well, if I'm just a little better, he got mad about the ketchup. Just if I make sure he's got all the right condiments, he won't get angry. Then he gets angry about something else and says it's your fault. Well, if I can just fix that, I'll do better. So a lot of times women absorb all of the negativity that's sent in their direction, and then sometimes so it tends to be more us that take the blame for what we do, and men tend to look to us for, I'm unhappy, you're the chick nearest, it must be you. But both sides do come to say fix the others, because they don't see not necessarily their blame, but their responsibility. It's not right or wrong, it's approach.
You use the word anger a lot. That must be something you see often.
I see a lot of anger.
Is it hurt or is it anger? Or hurt turned into anger?
Insecurity and fear turns into anger. I mean, that's what spawns it. That's what happens. I mean, you can get anger in relationships. It's almost always insecurity, hurt, or fear that turns into anger. And sometimes it is repetitive emotional beatings that turns into anger. Like I've been beat. And now I'm just through, and I'm angry. But my thing is, once you're angry, you lose, because you lose the capacity to think, you lose the capacity to respond in a manner that allows you to improve the situation. You lose the capacity to see what you could do, not saying that you're wrong, but what you can do to fix the situation, because you can't convince anybody that they're wrong. Right. It's just, they're not gonna listen. They're not paying attention. They don't want to hear that from you. But if you change your response to whatever wrong that they're doing, then that gives you more control over the situation. Doesn't mean you can fix it, but it gives you more control.
Now, when we come back with Judge Toler, the last thing I want to talk to her about is conflict resolution. It's not something that we know a lot about, but it is key in relationships. Learning how to resolve conflict. I'm your girl, Deya Direct, and we'll be right back.